and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to continue with the Rachel Mintz color along that I have been doing here on my channel with all of the tutorials. We have colored with Prismacolors and I showed you how to do the fur in the first video. Then we came back and we learned how to do some Derwent Inktense and I did the flower, and then in the last video I colored his adorable little overalls here. And today I'm going to try to finish this, and then the following video after this one I think I'm going to come back and do a background. So if you have suggestions for a background or what medium you would like to see me use for a background, please leave that in the comments below, because I've not yet decided and I would like to just look through some of your comments and get some ideas. If you would like to follow along with this color along, I will have the link down below to the Rachel Mintz digital store. This adorable little bunny is from the book Friendship. If you use the link and go to the digital store and then use my coupon code, you will be able to grab this book for only right around $3. And it comes with a ton of adorable images. I've done a flip through on this book and several different Rachel Mintz books. I will make sure that I link that in the upper right hand corner if you would like to see that. Okay, so I have some of my Inktense here. I would like to start here with the mushroom. Usually I would start from the top and go down to the bottom, but these Inktense are pretty good about drying pretty quickly, so I think I'm okay with starting with the mushroom, and I've already got some colors picked out for these mushrooms, and I want to experiment a little bit with the white Inktense and see what I could do here on the underneath part of the mushroom. And I may bring in some gel pens for the little dots on the mushrooms, or I may just keep them white and just use the white of the paper. We'll see what I decide to do after I have most of the mushroom colored in. So that's what we're going to do today. If you check the description box below, there will be a link down there for my Facebook group. I would love for you to join us over there and share your beautiful coloring pages if you're following along with any of my color alongs, this one or any of the others I've done here on my channel. Please do share everything that you do if you follow one of my tutorials or any of the color alongs. I'll also have a link down there for my Etsy store where there are quite a few different charts, as well as a tutorial, full tutorial workbook on blending and creating color combinations, as well as a link for my Patreon if you would like to support me there. So let's go ahead and start coloring this adorable little bunny. So to start with the mushrooms, I chose 3 colors, and I wanted my mushrooms to have a lot of red in them, but I also wanted to use a brown for the shadows just to give it that extra depth and dimension. So I've got dark chocolate, madder brown, and red oxide. And so I'm going to go ahead and start here just by blending some of these colors together. And of course, like in all my previous videos, I'm going to follow the grayscale. So where the grayscale is darker, I'm going to add this color, which is my darkest color. And then when I come back with the other colors, I'm going to just sort of blend those other colors right into this one, and I'm using this just to outline a little bit here on the outside. Now I'm going to use my madder brown and fill in some of these spaces, and I'm also going over that other color so I could get a really nice blend of those colors, but I don't want to fill in too many of these spaces because I want to come back with that red oxide, which is a really beautiful red color, because I do want to see quite a bit of the red here. So now I've got my red oxide, and we're going to come back and we are going to add all of our red. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't go into all of those little spaces where the dots would be, or the little spots on the mushroom. As you can see, I'm sort of just blending this color right into all of the others. Okay, so now it's time to come back with our watercolor brush. And so I've got my Derwent #1, and I showed all the different sizes of these brushes in the previous video. and I just squeezed it to get some water on the tip. And so I'm going to come back here and I'm going to start with my lightest color and blend out into the darkest color. You always want to make sure that you don't start, I'm trying to concentrate here, but you always want to make sure that you don't pull the darkest color into the lightest color. You want to do the exact opposite of that, and you want to start with your lightest color and pull it out into the darkest color every time you use these. And I just think that dot is just a little bit too big, so I'm sort of doing my own thing here. And when you're using these, you don't want to use too much water at all, because then you'll end up saturating the paper. And I am using the Spring Hill paper. I've mentioned that quite a few times, and I still have everyone leaving comments asking me what paper I'm using. So this is the Spring Hill paper, but I really like how that looks. I don't know if I'm going to need another layer or not, but for this part down here underneath the mushroom, I want to go ahead and experiment a little bit with that there. So I've grabbed my antique white, and I want to wait a little bit for this to dry, just because I don't want to pull any of these colors into the white. I actually pulled up some pictures of mushrooms online. Some of them had a little bit of brown mixed in with it, but I didn't want to go too dark on the brown. So I chose saddle brown, which I've used in other areas on this coloring page. And so I'm bringing the saddle brown into the mushroom just to bring some of those colors over. I think I used it possibly here in the center of the flower. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. I'm going to go ahead and fill all of this in with white, and it should go right over that grayscale. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'm adding quite a bit of it because I really want that pigment laid down quite a bit there so that it blends out nicely. And then I am going to come in with my saddle brown. I really wanted like a creamier color, but there's nothing in the Inktense set that is any creamier. So I'm going to go just very lightly with this and just add a little bit of this color right in here, just so that we can get a nice blend of these two colors. And hopefully when I come in with the water, they'll blend together rather nicely. And then hopefully they'll create the color that I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to try to stay right where the white is and pull that out into, oh, how nice. It does actually work. So I'm going to pull that out into the saddle brown. And it did totally create the color I was looking for. It just made that white look just a little bit different. And now I'm going to do it down here at this bottom part of the mushroom. And it created a creamy type color. So always remember that you can blend your colors together. If you don't have a color that you need, you can always blend them together and create the colors that you want. And I think after that dries, I may have to go over that one more time. But I'm going to start doing these other mushrooms, and I think while I do these other mushrooms, I'm going to go ahead and speed it up, since now you know exactly what I'm doing with these. Last step, I just want to show you a little trick with my outliner tool here, and this is just to draw lines, or like if an artist was using their Derwent Inktense, they can actually draw out whatever it is they want to draw and then come back with this outliner that is included in the 72 set, and they can just go over it with the Inktense, and this is not supposed to be water soluble, so it is supposed to just stay and be permanent. So I'm going to come back here and just to add a little bit to these mushrooms, I am going to just outline them just a little bit. And this way there will be a little bit more depth and dimension in here. And I think I like how the white or the white spots in the mushrooms turned out without adding any gel pen. And so I think I'm going to leave them like that for now, and then maybe later I'll come back and possibly add a little white, or I may even come back with the Inktense white and possibly maybe blend a little bit of that in there. Actually, let me do that. Let me go ahead and do that now. Okay, yeah, I think I decided to just go ahead and do this. So let me add the white in there. And this way it'll sort of blend the colors all into each other by using this. I think that way it'll look a little bit more natural. Now let me just go over it with my water brush. I think I need to wet my brush just a little bit. And then I'm going to blend this out, and I'm just going to dot it, because I don't want to pull that red in there by accident. I'm not sure if this was dry. It should be dry. It should be good. And then we'll do this one here. Okay, so I think that looks good. I mean, it doesn't look that much different, but it looks good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and color in my few leaves that I have over here. And I was going to go with much brighter colors, but I thought about this, and I was going to kind of use the same greens that I had over here, but I think I'm changing it up a little bit because I think some of these greens that I'm going to use I want to bring into the grass and such that is over here and be able to mix it in with some browns possibly. So I picked my colors here, and I've got iron green, Ionian green, and then I have fern, and this color is much brighter than it actually looks on the tip of the pencil. Okay, so for these I'm just going to sort of lay the color where I think I might want it. And then I'm going to come in with my Ionian green, and I'm going to blend some of this in here. And then I'm going to take my lightest color and really just put a lot more of that in there. And I'm actually, just like I did before, just sort of blending this color right into the other ones. And I think I'm going to come back with my iron green and really intensify that quite a bit more so we could see where those lines are. And I may need to come back again with my outliner to really intensify some of that. Now we're going to grab the water brush, and again I'm going to start where my lightest color is, and you'll see how much this just really intensifies. I'm going to get into my darker color, and look how dark and vibrant that is. Oh, it's so pretty. I think I need to wipe off my brush just a little bit. And I don't even think I'm going to need a second layer with these here. These colors are so vibrant. I might come back with something a little bit lighter and add it in there. I don't know yet. We'll see. Let me go ahead and do this one down here. And as I finish these leaves here, I've got 2 left, and so I'm just going to go ahead and speed the process up so that they could get done fairly quickly. Okay, so the leaves are done, and you can see that I came back there at the end and I grabbed my cadmium yellow and I just added a little bit of yellow into them as well, just because I thought they needed a little bit more of something. This one here looks like it has maybe a little raindrop or drop of dew or something like that on it, and I guess I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that a little bit later. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the grass that is all in and around this tree bark here, and y'all are going to get a little bit of a grass tutorial here and how to create grass. So I want to be able to create balance amongst everything or all of the colors that I already have on the page. And so you can see that I have a lot of browns. I used the more muted greens over here. I did add a little bit of a yellow, but the yellow was a little bit more muted too, rather than bright and vibrant. And so I want to, when I do this grass, I want it to be green, but to really create a really good grass texture, you really need to have a mix of colors. And because I used shades of brown in other areas of the page, I wanted to be able to bring in the saddle brown again. So I'm going to use the colors that I used for the leaves so that I could bring them into other areas of the coloring page to create that balance. And then I'm going to add in the saddle brown. And I'm going to add in the saddle brown at the end after I use the other colors, because I really want you to be able to see as I'm doing this the difference that that saddle brown is going to make. So when you're doing this and you're creating grass, even though the lines are already here for us, I'm going to sort of follow some of those lines, but I'm also going to do my own thing with this. I'll probably add in a little bit of my own lines just to create the effect that I want to create. So I've got my iron green, and I'm going to start with that one. You need to make sure that your leads on your pencils are very, very sharp. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Dull 133, and I'm going to get this nice and sharpened. And when you're creating grass, you have to continue to just turn your pencil so that you can get those nice sharp strokes. Now, these pencils are a little bit harder. This would have been a little bit more difficult. I mean, you could do it with something like Prismacolors, but these are going to be much easier because the lead is quite a bit harder than a Prismacolor. So let's go ahead, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my darkest color here, the iron green, and I'm just going to start making some strokes. And I'm going to try to follow the grayscale as much as I can. But I'm going to sort of add in some of my own thing here at the same time. And remember, we've got a few other colors to add. So we're not going to use this color over all of it because we need to leave some spaces for our other colors. I think I need to just go over that one there, and then we'll come over this one with a couple other colors I have here. And you can see when I'm making my strokes, I'm going different directions. I'm not going the same direction. I'm sort of going back and forth, and then I need to come over here and I need to do this little section down here. So we'll add a little bit of this darker color here. Now I'm going to come in with my next color, which is the Ionic Green. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And this color is very close to the other one, so I really don't need a whole lot of this. Y'all really start to see quite a bit of difference when I come back in with the colors that are quite different from these. Let me add a little bit over here on this side. Then I am going to grab my fern, and this is where you're going to see a little bit of a difference. I'm going to start adding this color all in and around, and in some cases over, because I'm still going to have to come back with water. And the water's going to make a huge difference. Just wait and see. Again, I'm turning my pencil and I'm just sort of going back and forth in different directions. And you could see the difference in the contrast over here between those two colors. And I'm going to come over here, turn my paper a little bit, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so now we're going to see a real big difference, because this is where I'm going to come back with my saddle brown and I'm going to add that color. So now you could see it's sort of the same idea as when we did the fur, where the difference in the colors makes all the difference in the world. And again, make sure you're turning your pencil, and see again, I added a couple of my own little lines in there. And then we need to come back and we need to do it to the other side. And if you need to turn your paper, go ahead and turn your paper. And I think down here at the bottom, I want to add a little bit more of this color, just so that when I come back with the water, I have enough color down. And then I think I'm going to come back again one more time with my darkest color. I think that was the iron green. So I'm going to go right over that, and you could see how it's making a huge difference, because I want a lot of that darker color right down here at the base. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I need to make sure that the base down here where it meets the dirt or the sand is a little bit darker. So I want to make sure that I have a good mix of the saddle brown and the iron green. Okay, so now it's time to come back with the water, and you're going to see what a huge difference this makes once I start adding the water. Okay, so I'm just going to do this here to my brush to make sure that it is pretty pointy, so that I can keep the same strokes I got going on here. So you're going to do the same thing with the brush, with the water brush, that you just did with your pencil. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to go every different direction, and look how it just pulls that color. I think I need to come up here, and I think I got my finger in it. Now I'm not going to go over every single bit of it, because I still want to have that grass effect, and so I don't want to really blend all these colors into one another too much, but I think that looks really, really cool. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put a little more water on my brush. I'm going to make sure that I've got a nice pointy tip. And again, this is the Derwent #1. And all of the brushes that I have a 1, a 2, and a 3, and they are all different. Oh my goodness, this is so cool. See how I'm adding a little bit of my own strokes in there as well? Oh, I love that. Okay, I think I like it just the way it is. Oh my goodness, that was so fun. Okay, y'all, so I think that we're actually going to have to end this video here. I didn't think it was going to take as long, and I really wanted to be able to finish all of this, or at least the rest of the page, in one video. But this video has already gone on so long, and it's going to be a lot of editing still. So we got a grass tutorial and we colored in the mushrooms. Okay, so the next video I'm going to start filming right after I end the filming of this one, but we are going to color in the tree bark, so it will be a tutorial on how to color tree bark. And we are also going to try to add the butterfly into that one. And then the following video will be our background. So if you have background suggestions, let me know in the comments below what medium you would like to see me use to finish the background on this page and to bring this color along to an end. I hope you enjoyed the tutorials in this video, and I will see you in the next one. Happy coloring. Bye.